Your book cover is costing you sales. I've created over 200 consistent AI characters here, all the images that I created for. I'm going to break down the 5 mistakes that most people make. Go into Amazon, go into the popular or the trending books. Okay, that's cute. Make sure that it is clean, simple, top 100 best-selling books within your niche. Don't put any text or anything in that area because that's where Amazon is going to be putting that barcode. Get those sales to come on in. Your book cover is costing you sales, and here's why and how we're going to fix it. If your characters change from page to page or your cover looks AI-ish, this video is going to help you save time and money. I've created over 200 consistent AI characters using consistentcharacter.ai, which will be rebranding soon to Neolemon. So watch out for that. And before I learned cover design rules, my books looked a mess. They looked rough. They looked like I was packing in too much information. It was too cluttered. So today I'm going to break down the 5 mistakes that most people make when they're making their cover, how it comes out unprofessional looking, and how to fix that and get those sales to come on in. All right, so we are in consistentcharacter.ai, and we're going to talk about the first mistake that people make when making their books, and that's with inconsistent character design. So you might use chat, Midjourney, whatever else whatever AI system. There's 1,000 AI systems coming out every day, but you will still notice, even though they have improved, you will still notice that with the more you create with that image, the details start to fade and they start incorporating different changes with your character as it goes further. But we don't run into that problem with consistentcharacter.ai. I've created books where I've had 20 pages. I've had some even 30. It is not, of course, not all in the same book. Nobody's reading a 30-page children's book. But when I'm creating my series, I do have a couple books that are in series. So I've never had any issue with the facial, the hair, or anything changing. I can change the outfits if I want to, but if I don't want to, it's staying the same throughout. So that's the first mistake is by using those other brands. But go ahead and go to consistentcharacter.ai and you'll be able to keep your character consistent from the actual pages to the cover. And so last week we talked about a book. I showed you I was creating a book called Milo and the Moon Pocket. And I have all the images saved in my project folder. And you can clearly see here all the images that I created for this book. One feature, though, I wanted to talk about really quick that I didn't point out last time is the storyboard. And it's within the project folder, but you can just click on storyboard and you have a notes section or a script section that you could type in your script or dialogue or anything that you want to take note of or want to change. Just go ahead and add that in there. But anyways, getting back to the cover. So when that's the first mistake that you're making is you're using a system that is not designed basically for you to create these books or to create these series for these children's books. But consistentcharacter.ai is definitely the perfect software to create your books and keep it consistent from A to Z. All right, so before we go in to make the covers, mistake number 2 is not doing your research. So your best bet is to go into Amazon, go into the popular or the trending books and see what the covers look like. Covers are meant to be eye-popping, but not too cluttered. Now, whatever niche that you are in within the children's book world, you need to go in and look at that niche and kind of replicate, not copy, but replicate what type of covers are on the top 100 spots on the Amazon KDP list. And once you get an example of what the cover that is attracting all the sales, all the mothers, fathers, children, to get these books sold, then you need to replicate it. just a little bit. All right, so we're back in consistentcharacter.ai, and we're going to just create a couple of examples for the cover. And I'm just going to go into the multi-character function. I'm going to upload my images, and I have my prompt, and I'm just going to go and copy that over. And I'm just going to take out a couple of things that's not needed. Okay, and I'm just going to put in like at character 1 for Milo, put in Blight Moon Orb, and then I'm going to put 2. All right, and then the image, I'm going to do portrait 3x4 and generate. Okay, that's cute. I like that. Now, it did come with some text on there. Maybe in the prompt, I mentioned some text, but that's fine. We could always remove that because I like to have the text. I like to put the text in when I'm using Canva, but I like that. That's a cute cover. Okay, let me go with my second prompt. I'm going to make a couple of variations so we can play around with some different covers. Okay, generate. That's cute. Okay, let's see. Keep going with the other prompts, and I'll be back when I have all of the different covers created, and we can go from there. All right, so now that I have my potential images for the cover, I went ahead and went to Canva and opened up a document. Before you do this, you want to go to KDP, and depending on the size of the book that you're making, you want to download the appropriate template for you to use for the cover. Now, I'm making an 8.5 by 11 book, and so I grabbed that template for the cover that they have, and you can just download it. And what you're going to do is you're going to upload it to your document, and you're going to just size it correctly within the blank template. And then you can bring down the transparency a little bit. We're going to delete it a little bit later, but we want to make sure that our cover is in the right spot and it doesn't bleed into the spine of the book or have any important images or words going in the outer pink area. I think the cover that I want to use is this one. And when I made the image, it didn't give me enough head space to put in my font or my title of the book. And that's mistake number 3. Is we're going to get into that, but it's using the wrong font for your book. A lot of times people will go ahead and just go down the list of different fonts, and they like these funky looking fonts, and it just doesn't work. So mistake number 3 for your book covers is picking the wrong font. Make sure that it is clean, simple. And again, go back to KDP, go back to Amazon and see what type of fonts that they use. If you need help with discovering what type of font they use, download the image and take it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can give you some examples of what font they may have used. So that's a crucial thing that you need to master when you are making your covers. Please don't go off of, well, I like this font. You might like it, but maybe it's not a font that people can easily read or even understand or see. Just keep that in mind. But anyway, before we get into that, I'm going to take this image, and now because I didn't do a lot of space between the character's head and give it enough blank space, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the image and I'm going to remove the background. All right. And so I'm just going to make sure he's within the border. And so with Canva, or you can go back to consistentcharacter.ai and just make the background there. But I'm just going to do it in Canva, and I'm just going to click on, you could do design and search Starry Night. Let's see. No, I want plain, let's say night background. Give you some images. And you're going to go and search for images that will best fit your cover. Even with Canva AI, you can go and suggest what kind of cover you want, or you can go back to consistentcharacter.ai and regenerate the image and tell within the prompt, have you leave some head space so that you can put in your title of the book. But it's up to you. But I will be back once I have a good background. All right, so I just went to Elements and typed in Starry Night and got an image for that, and then a moon image and placed it behind our main character. Now, as for the font, all you would do is go to the search bar if you're building in Canva and hit the text and type in. You can search, of course, for the different fonts. So I'm just going to go with Quicksand real quick. And I'm going to, of course, size it up. And I want to change the color as well. I'm going to go as, I want to say, a yellowish color. Let's do Milo. And from the images in Amazon, there's a lot of times the book covers had multiple colors within the text. I'm not going to do that here, but again, see what works. What is the best-selling book or top 100 best-selling books within your niche, and copy what they're doing because it clearly works. Let's go to a yellow, and then I do that. So we're going to do Milo, and then we're going to duplicate this, make that smaller. And before I work on the rest of this, I'm just going to size this down real quick. With Canva, I'm going to curve it. And so you can play around with how this comes out. How you would curve it or play with the effects of the font is click on the title or click on the word that you want to do effects with and click on effects above it. And it's going to take you to this page on the sidebar. And you're going to go down to curve, and you can play with the adjustment to how much you want it curved. I'm going to curve it around the moon, and then I'm going to make this and a little smaller. Might change that to white. No, that's not. This moon. Okay. So Milo and the moon pocket. And just do that one. Mistake number 4 is not having a focal point on your cover. So you don't want to, again, to have so many things on your cover that it's confusing the buyer. It's confusing the kid. What's going on in the story? You don't know because you got so many other things going on. But you have to have a focal point. And mistake number 5 is it's having your image not perfected. And those are those little AI tails. And so if you usually see it with different AI softwares, but make sure you're counting the fingers, counting the toes. Make sure that it's not looking all wonky, especially when you're getting your images from AI. Look at the fingers, make sure it's not webbed or things like that, and that they look good. Just examine that image. So what I'm going to do is that background, I'm going to copy it over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove that template from the back. Now I am going to make sure that it spreads down all the way. And you might be like, didn't you say it shouldn't go out of bounds? That's fine. It's fine because you don't have anything in these areas within the borders that are going to cut it. Nothing important is in that area. So if when they're printing the book and they cut off that top area, it's fine because no text are in that area. No important pieces of the image is in that area. And other than that, let me actually put that template back real quick. So just so you can know, we're going to do a little marker here. We're going to go to Elements, and we're going to do square. And this is just a little marker area. I'm not sure to do a rectangle, but you guys get the point. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to delete it again. This area, this little square that I put, you need to leave that area blank. So don't put any text or anything in that area because that's where Amazon is going to be putting that barcode. And your text goes here. This will be the summary of the book, what it teaches, or whatever it is that your book is about will go here. Your little author information will go here. Of course, you wouldn't leave these squares here, but that's just to show you where that information will go. As long as you, of course, make sure that your character is consistent. You are researching different book covers to know what is popular, what is getting the buyer's attention, and recreating that cover for your book in a way, making sure your text is clear, it's easy to read, it pops out, you have that focal point on your cover. And of course, there are no AI tails, meaning you don't have extra fingers, extra toes, extra eyes, things like that. And your cover should be good to go. If you are interested in ConsistentCharacter.ai, they do offer a free trial. Go test it out, see how it works. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.